Welcome to another episode of Take Two Creations with Manoj and Chetna. And this is a new episode in our passion series. So, Manoj, first off, what do you
Mhm.
think we have common in all the four guests that you see here? What is the
Uh,
common thread?
all of them are guys.
No, no way.
Huh?
It's
What?
not that.
What?
They are
Oh,
guys.
they're
They are
not guys.
guys. They are guys. Yes, they are guys. I agree with you. But the bigger thread that connects them all is that they all love tennis. They are
Ah,
just like I
I
do.
sh- that's
Yes,
true. I should have figured it out looking at your cap.
I know. So I'm wearing my Roger Federer's cap. I'm
Hmm.
a big tennis lover. I don't play as well, but all these four guests that I have with us today,
Hmm.
they may not be Roger Federer, but they are my personal heroes because they are the best tennis players I know in my life.
All right. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So we have Ashish Pandit,
Hello.
Yatin Gola, Hans Bhatia, and
Woohoo.
Arvind Velugopal with us.
Hi.
They are excellent tennis players. And like Russell Lyons, who was an American art historian, photographer, and author of Harper's Magazine, he once said that tennis is an addiction that once it has truly hooked a man, will not let him go.
I
Hmm.
concur.
And I
Sounds
think
like a woman.
so I think the bug of tennis has bitten all these four men whom you and I know very well through different arenas. But let's talk to them. How did the tennis bug bit them and how it became a passion for them? So, Ashish, let's
Oh,
start with you.
so I'm the first scapegoat. Okay. So, growing up in India, cricket is our religion. So, cricket
Uh-huh.
was always there, and I used to keep playing. But tennis was always one of the sport that I followed very closely. It started with 1980 Wimbledon final of Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe. That was a
Wow.
fantastic final. Like it was a five-setter, and I just got into that game that moment onwards. In 1981, Borg lost to McEnroe in four sets, and I was so involved with Bjorn Borg because I just loved his game at that point of time. That when Borg lost, I developed a fever.
Oh
It was
no.
that bad of
Uh-oh.
a
I
involvement
watched
I
all of
had.
those games.
It
Yes, I
I
was
did
still
too.
remember those.
fabulous,
Yeah,
Yes.
fabulous. And the game had changed since then. Means I followed Agassi or Edberg, and Sampras was my favorite at that time. But when Federer came to the limelight in 2001, 2002 onwards, and the 2003 season, 2003 and 2004 season was a killer season for Federer. Meaning he won his record was ridiculous, 93 and two, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
Right, Yatin? Something
yeah,
of that sort.
yeah. He
2003
lost
season.
three, only three matches. Yeah,
Yeah, out of 95 matches. So I started getting more and more into it, and I moved to United States in 1998, and cricket kind of lost from my mind because I didn't used to get to play here in United States.
Hmm.
So I started moving more closer to watching tennis, not playing. And then the life happens, and you get a lot of stressful situations in life. But the 2007 final, if I'm not wrong, between Federer and Nadal at Wimbledon, that's the thing. That's when I decided, okay, let's give it a shot. And once I started hitting against the wall, it's just a stress reliever. And I needed that at that time, the amount of stress that I was under in personal life. And that's how it started. And I never looked back. I'm playing since last 13 years now
Wow.
and have like just great memories. I found great friends. Arvind is one of them. Actually, we were on same teams. Yatin is one of them. I know I got together with you, Chetna, for singing, but Yatin is my guru in tennis. So he has taught me a lot over the period of time.
And at one
So
time or the other, you guys have played against each other where even
Yes.
before you got connected through us or we got connected to you.
Yes. So,
yeah,
Arvind, how did you start?
I think similar story to Ashish. I grew up in India as well, playing
Uh-huh.
a lot of cricket. But I have two younger brothers, so what we used to do was we would play all kinds of sports. Depending on what balls we have, like we would make up like courts, and then we would
Mm-hmm.
either play like tennis for using the hand, or like we'll use like the badminton racket, and we'll use like a softer ball, or like
Wow.
even the ping pong table thing, but we'll change the rules. And then we always used to have, back in the day, tennis was not accessible to everyone, so it was like something that we desired, but we could not access it. Eventually, in my high school days, I did go for tennis coaching back in
Uh-huh.
the day. I
Okay.
should shocked about Borg and McEnroe to say that I was
Too young.
a generation later. So I started following when Edberg and Becker were playing, and then like Edberg used to be my most favorite player.
Uh-huh.
And on the women's side, of course, Graf was winning everything. So I usually don't like anyone who wins a lot, except for Federer, as you can
Of
see from
course.
my sweatshirt. But then that kind of like kept the interest, because we just wanted to be out and play something. And then because I
Okay.
went for the class, for tennis classes, that really increased my interest. But back in the day, I still had like wooden rackets, and we would play on clay courts, so it wasn't that exciting. But after I moved to the US, you could just walk into a Walmart and get a racket and play. Maybe 10 years ago, I got tired of asking my friends and like not getting a response from them to go and hit. So I just signed up for leagues and stuff so I can regularly play. That's when I saw Ashish, and I can relate to Ashish's stress busting shots on the court.
So, Yatin, I know that you grew up in India as well. And how did you get interested in tennis?
Well, in India, I mean, I always been, I guess, involved in sports. I play racket sport, badminton, table tennis, cricket,
Aren't we all?
well, I was in India. I have no exposure to tennis until I came here. I came here 81 and living with my
How old
dad.
were
My
you?
I was 21.
Okay.
Uh, when I moved here, I have two elder siblings. They were here before me, and they used to play tennis. They had a little more experience than me. So when they took me to the court and they asked me if I want to play, I said, "Well, I never played." I said, "Like, well, try it." So I used my brother's racket and hitting ball like I'm doing the cricket. And they got upset. They said, "We don't want to play with you. You're gonna ruin my game." And that like looked like hit me or something. And then my brother, he bought a tennis racket, Donnet tennis racket, on my birthday. And from that point on, thing that stuck with me. They don't want to play with him because I'm not good enough. And from that point on, that racket, my birthday gift, tennis ball on the wall.
Wow.
And that's where I start subscribing to tennis magazine and put a square on the wall, and it started all from that point on, and I never looked back. Borg was my idol because my brother gave me a Donny racket. The Borg used to play with.
Wow.
And then Borg retired too early, and then came Roger Federer. That guy is just like nothing. I mean, there's no one single shot in tennis that he cannot hit.
Yes.
And the hard work he put, I mean, it just finesse that he has, and tennis is like you can wake me up 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I'm never tired for tennis.
Yeah.
That's the passion.
One
Yeah.
more thing. One more thing I
Yeah.
will say. Sorry, Shisha, I'll get back to you. I will say about Yatin. Yatin is my walking, talking tennis encyclopedia. Yes,
Trust me,
Ashish.
Manoj, when you get to know all of them,
They
try
are
to
all like
talk to
that.
all of them. They're all of them like that. So
Like
that's
that.
why they
Okay.
are my heroes, because they are walking, talking encyclopedias. And last but not the least,
Wait,
Hans is like a crazy, passionate tennis player. So let's hear from Hans how he got into tennis.
My dad actually got me into tennis. He was posted to Holland.
Hmm.
Uh, he tells the story that the ambassador needed somebody to play with. So he drafted my dad. And so he always used to tell the stories about playing tennis. Then but when we were in different countries, in Nepal and Beirut, there was no opportunity, or India, there was no opportunity to play tennis.
Ah.
Once we came to this country, then he gave me his wood racket. That was as good as I was. I started playing with that. We used to. It was funny. In New York City, there was an abandoned uh, concrete tennis court, and we had to take our own nets. So we bought nets for like $5. We would string them up and play, and which has enjoyed it so much. And then my heroes for tennis in those days, tennis was like top of the TV ratings in US. So the bad boys, I used to love Connors and McEnroe, and there was a player Nasty, Nastase. So
Nastase.
Yeah,
those,
Elena Stase, yeah.
those were the
Yeah.
top.
Stasis.
The
Yeah.
top
Yes.
Yeah, Vitas Gerulaitis was there too.
yeah, yeah. So then there was a lull in between. I think I'm not that much of a fan of Borg, but then I think once Federer came in, then it became exciting again, and uh, I always enjoy it. It's so fun to it's a social game. It's an exercise. It's outing. So we had Yatin and I had some good matches. Even when we went, I forget where we went, Prague or Budapest, I think.
Budapest, yeah. We play on a
Budapest.
clay, yeah, red clay. Yeah.
We were driving by
Yeah.
and found a court, and we said it was a private club. Yeah, can you rent us rackets? And they were so,
Yeah.
And your wives found the court for you guys to play there.
So I have a question. Uh, none of you, it sounds like based on the history, all the stories I've heard, none of you really went through formal training, right? So it was all self-learned techniques and self-learned sport. How? And I know some of you played competitively. Did any one of you play competitively, or did you have a desire to, or was it just a hobby for you for your personal satisfaction?
So from the
Yeah,
USTA
Ashish.
perspective, I will tell you, Arvind is familiar to, and Yatin is too. Is like we play on USTA, which is a recreational league, but it is very competitive. Meaning they have a rating system. They rate you, and within that group you play, and it goes through the year actually. So you first play within your area. Means like if I sign up for Frederick, I play
Right.
within the Frederick teams. Once we win that, we go to the regional level, then the state level, then the national level, like that. So I went twice with that, in different categories, and it is very competitive. And you play almost 5 days or 6 days a week for that in the evenings
Wow.
and all. Practice, there are practice sessions, team events, and all that. So
Right.
it's
Yatin,
not professional level, but it's still like, and I started at around 40 when I turned 40, so there is no way.
No way you could have
No way.
gotten into
Yeah,
youth league.
correct. No, but the USTA is 18 and over, so
Right. That's
you
what I'm
get
saying. So
people
you
that
couldn't get into your youth league.
correct.
Yeah, I'll
yes.
say I did play with Ashish, and there are also combination leagues. Like you can play doubles, mixed doubles. There are different age categories, so it's one of the good things about it. You can play. There are flex leagues. You're not bound to a schedule. You can play according to your own schedule. And then if you don't like the regularity of leagues, and you have like some weekends available, you can play like tournaments or like ladder games once in a while. And of course, I also used to play for a long time at a club. So that's another thing that I've done. When I was little, I learned, and then of course, when I was in the much more active in the leagues, I've taken a lot of private lessons. Sometimes the private lessons help you, sometimes they spoil your game. So one thing I've stuck to is like even though I have some issues with some particular strokes, I've stuck to my original style of play because like mostly it's just a matter of more practice, and then you eventually get even Federer. The great Federer has weaknesses. So
So Yatin, you have any experience about Yatin and Hans?
Yes,
Do you have any experience in competitive tennis?
Yeah, I mean, I play also USTA. Like she says, we're pretty competitive, and it's just me. I mean, I love the challenge that motivates me, and I'm very competitive, person, and I love. I mean, I didn't have any coaching or any lesson or something. like I say, start subscribing to tennis magazine, and every single magazine they focus on one shot. And
Yeah.
like I say, I have a bucket of balls, my tennis racket in the wall. So I used to just go practice that shot, and it's just all about practice. Practice make you better, and like I say, competition. I like challenges. I always like to play uh, the
Level
rank
above.
above me, so because that
Mhm.
motivates me. That get me
Yeah.
going. So
That's why I play
So,
with you, Yatin.
and
So,
back in the days, YouTube wasn't there, right? There was no
no,
right,
YouTube.
right,
there's
right.
no.
So
You
there
know,
is a saying by Roger Federer, like whom we all love, I'm sure, that there is no way around the hard work. Embrace it. So I'm sure you guys, all of you, have really worked hard to better yourself. So tell us about your journey. Tell us about your setbacks. Did you find at some time that you just can't go beyond certain point, or you were like really hitting it and getting it done? And what was your personal satisfaction level on tennis? So, uh, Ashish, Hans, anybody, would you like to answer?
I had one setback. I remember when as everybody said, I never took any lessons, so I went down the street to play tennis at the middle school down the street with my friend. So my friend was stretching. He was stretching his back, and I was saying, "What are you doing?" He said, I'm stretching. I'm just making sure everything is." I've never. I told him I've never stretched in my life. What that is. So I was super confident. So playing, and after about 30 seconds, I was like looking at the sky, and I was wondering, why am I looking at the sky? And then so he came over running, and he said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know what happened, but let me get up." I couldn't get up. My back had just tightened up. He had to call ambulance. The ambulance took me on a stretcher to the hospital.
Uh-oh.
Then I realized, yeah, stretching might be a good idea after all. It took me like 8, 9 months to recover from that, but
Wow.
I've
I
had, yeah.
still loved the game so much that I went back and started playing again.
Yeah, I've
Right.
actually tested the various emergency centers around Montgomery County because I've had like tendonitis issues. I've had like rotator cuff issues, all kinds. Because
Wow.
without moving the feet, if I just try to like swing my
Yeah.
arms, that's what happens.
No, as you grow older, what happens is when you start playing and you were comparatively young, and when you grow old, your mind thinks you can reach to the ball, but body says no, 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 and that causes a lot of issues actually.
Yes.
You stretch your knees, that is a problem. The Achilles is a problem. The rotator cuff is a problem. You name it. We have gone through the cramps, the pulling hamstring this thing, issues. But yeah, means
Usually,
it's
if it's like
okay.
a weekend long event, also you would see like the first day everybody is fit and fine, and by the time the second day comes, people are like bringing ice packs and like for the back, they're doing extra stretching for the back and everything. So
Mhm.
Yatin, what have you experienced?
yeah, that's the one thing I guess. I wish I can go back. Uh, because when you're young, uh, your body can take it. I mean, not stretching, the abuse, you recover so fast and stuff. And the one thing I guess I'm speaking of myself, I didn't do condition my body to play the sport. And
So
and
feels
now
like
now what happened is, you feel it because
Mhm.
my patella tendon is almost gone.
Yeah.
So now I'm relying on cortisone injection. But I can't give up tennis.
so seems like all of you are experiencing the deterioration with the body, but tennis still stays as your passion, right? It still stays
Mhm.
as your
Yep.
first love.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, to all of you, is that how has tennis enriched your life? I know it's good sport, you have enjoyed playing, but has it given you some kind of a competitive edge, or it has made you feel more satisfied, or it has given you time on the weekends, a time for yourself? So I would like to ask all of you. Hans?
Yeah, it's like, kind of gives you a passion for life itself, because you have that competitive spirit. You exercise your body and your mind. So it's really like helped me have a better outlook and get away from your everyday, that you might get, like, I think somebody else was mentioning the stress of life. So
Mhm.
it really helps. Then one thing I remember, we used to play Cabin John, and I remember the uh, person next to me, the two people next to us in the court next to us, it was a father and son. And the father was, I asked later, how old is your father? I asked the son, and he said he's 92 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
So he was 92. He played for 1 or 2 seasons, and then one year, um, we didn't see the father, we just saw the son. So I asked the son what happened. So he said, unfortunately, my father passed away. But those years that I played tennis with my father were the best years of my life. So
Mhm.
you could see how
Yeah.
tennis helped him bond with his father. So it's a bonding experience.
And do you feel that with not only family members, do you feel among your friends as well? Have you bonded, or have you guys experienced such enriching relationships in your life?
Yeah, I'll share a couple of stories. One is I've captained and played in teams, USTA and team tennis, world team tennis, and everything. So a lot of people are really nice, which a lot of people you may otherwise never get to meet or interact with. Like, I met Ashish through the leagues, and then met Yatin later, and Chetna, and came into the family. So it's like a growing network of people that you get connected to. It
Mhm.
brings that opportunity. But then again, like anything else, with the different types of personalities that you meet, you have it also gives you like some situations where you have to develop a thick skin. Like I also encountered challenging personalities with attitude problems, or like, there were people. I was literally on court once. Somebody told me, I've been playing tennis for 45 years. You don't have to tell me anything. Like, so I didn't have any response to those kind of things. But I think overall, it's a very enjoyable experience. Especially like, I think the area where we are living in, there's just so much available for us. Like we can tap into public courts as well as private courts as well as leagues and all these things. So it's been great.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
then.
personally, yeah,
Oh,
Yatin, go ahead.
I mean, as far as I would say, the bonding is like, I give you example, the Roberto Clemente, and I've been playing there for last 25 years. If you have a group
Mm.
of people, some people drop out, some people, move away or something, but we have a group of people every weekend when the weather is nice. I mean, people are out there. I mean, it's just like a family. I mean, we just go out there. We know somebody's gonna come, show up, and it just good competition also. So it's
And at one point, they were all strangers, right? It was
yeah,
not
yeah,
like you knew these
yeah.
people. You just
And
met them at the court or somewhere, right?
yeah, and the new people are still getting added to that. Like today, we had a what count of 15. Like I saw like four new people today, in that
yes,
group.
Wow.
yes.
It was fantastic. So enriching experience from my perspective is like, first of all, tennis teaches you a lot. It teaches you the things in life also. How to accept certain situations that you may not like to this thing, but it's a part of life. So and we all agree to this Roger Federer, and Roger Federer says something, and I say King Roger says, you can only control your side of the net. You cannot control your opponent. You cannot control your how he plays. You can only control your
Your side
side
of
of
the
the
Of the
court.
net and
net.
how you play. So it,
Yes.
it,
Sometimes
it
you can't
applies to
control
life.
your partner, but yeah.
That's
Just
fine.
kidding.
No, but I'm talking about singles, right? So you're
Just
single
kidding.
in, yeah, so it applies to life also. Means in life also, you cannot control how the person or whom you are interacting with, how they are going to behave. So you have to hold your side of the bargain and
Mhm.
hope for the
Yeah.
best. You give your
So,
best shot in the thing. And for my personal thing is our elder daughter, she plays tennis because of me, and she plays with me,
nice.
and she was the varsity captain for her high school. team, and
Wow.
we still go out and play sometimes. So it's just a bonding thing, you know. And now I'm teaching Dia how to play tennis. So it's like it's really bonding the family
Yeah.
together. You know?
So,
Very nice.
did you guys, any one of you, I know tennis was kind of your primary sport or became primary sport, but did you guys try your hands on other sports? And you said, oh, those ones are not for me, or didn't feel that comfortable and switched to tennis?
I've pretty much tried like most sports except ice hockey.
Ah,
And I
nice.
think I used to play a lot more basketball when I was in school and grad school and all that. Later on, I just felt like tennis was much more, I would say, longer term prospect of developing something because can't keep playing basketball forever. It takes a toll on your body. But then also cricket, as much as I love cricket, it's like it takes too much time.
Hmm.
I think so that I backed out of that. But pretty much I
You tried
enjoy
everything.
sports. Yeah, but in general, like I've tried a lot of sports. But ice hockey is something I've not tried. But
Hans, have you?
Yeah, for me, it's interesting. Like, because when you try to get fit, you think about jogging or you think about other sports. Everything else I try, my body cannot do it. But tennis,
Mm.
how my body has been tuned, so I can keep playing tennis and enjoy it and still feel good after playing. So it's just something that's happened over the years. I feel like my body is tuned for tennis, and of course, my mind is also tuned for tennis.
Tune for tennis.
Nice.
Ashish,
Oh, I
have you
I
tried
used to
anything?
play.
I know you said you played cricket, right?
I played cricket. I played
Yeah,
badminton. I played table
yeah.
tennis. But
Okay. So
tennis is the one that stuck
you
with
are
me.
all are real athletes. I know Yatin, you also played what?
Yeah, I play racquetball also. I tried. I
Yeah.
mean, I played uh, almost. I remember 4 years, and I played pretty competitive also. I played in a state tournament also.
Oh,
I
nice,
went to the
nice.
third round, but soon after I realized this is just not good for my knees. Tennis was
and
suffering, so I dropped the racquetball and I stuck with tennis.
and look what tennis has done to you. Your knees are gone.
It's the racquetball, not the tennis.
I'll quote another quote from Billie Jean King. Um, Tennis is a perfect combination of violent action taking place in an atmosphere of total tranquility. So, like Ashish mentioned, that that to focus your anger, to control your like outburst. Tennis is a perfect example. And from my own personal experience, my son, younger son, was very hot tempered, right? He was very short tempered, very hard headed. And when he came to tennis, in the beginning, he broke a lot of rackets.
Ooh.
So, of course, Yatin, like, Yatin, of course, taught him and coached him, and he coached my boys' tennis team as well. But then slowly that focus that tennis can bring that I have seen is amazing. And I think Roger Federer has the similar kind of story when his dad told him like to
Yeah.
focus your anger. So he found tennis to focus his anger. In the beginning, he was losing everything. He lost to everybody he played to because he let his head rule his whatever his focus, his anger rule his focus. And then that's how his dad got into him into tennis. And then he focused and he won everything. And I think he beat everybody he lost to in the beginning, right? He beat
So,
all of
so,
those
so the
players.
bottom line is that you have to have so much anger to focus.
I think
Ha
I'll
ha
I'll
ha.
be the I'll be the example where like I've had the opposite problem. I'm usually like too calm on the courts. Sometimes my partner has to say like, "Come on, let's do this," and then like shake me up.
But I have seen that with Yatin since he's my husband as well. And I think I'm the biggest fan of him because I think he's the best tennis player ever.
I'm blushing.
No, all of these are good tennis players and I love them all, but of course I'm biased toward my husband. But I've seen that in normal life he's very quiet.
Yep.
But on the court he's a different person. He's
Yep.
competitive. He would cuss, which I've never heard him say, but I've seen him cussing on the court. So I think it brings out like the passion in all of you. So I mean, I would say like it was a very, very interesting talk, talking to all of you. But I would like you to talk about literally how tennis is your passion, like in short, in finale. Let's hear why is tennis your passion?
Can I add to this,
Yes, sure,
Chetna, what you're asking? So
sure.
just to say that is your passion that much that you will lie to your nearest and dearest to get away and play tennis? Is it at that level?
Since you talked about a
Arvind, go.
lie, I will share a story from my childhood. When US Open used to happen, it was like
Uh-huh,
late night in India.
uh-huh.
We would love watching tennis all the time, and then especially the semifinals, finals, they would happen really late night. So we would switch off all the lights, go to sleep, and then of course, when the parents have slept, and then I would sneak out into the living room, turn the TV back on. Obviously, my parents knew this, and then one day my dad came out and he said, "Tomorrow is an exam. At least tonight, don't watch TV. Just finish the exam, and then after that, continue watching from tomorrow." So some things just pull you into a direction, and then eventually you figure out how to balance out your day-to-day life and your passion.
Uh,
Hans?
Yeah, I definitely can relate to the spouse. What you were asking about that. Sometimes I'm limping, and my back is hurting. But then as soon as I see her, I'm straight, and I walk because if she sees me like that, she'll say, "Don't play tennis today." I'm like, I cannot go through that. I have to play tennis, so I'm feeling fine and fit. And I just want to tell one story about Federer. Uh, Renu and I had gone to Rome, and I opened the newspaper in the hotel, and then I was like, she had actually organized the trip. So then I was like, tears were coming to my eyes, like, wow, what a wife. She organized this thing because I saw the newspaper said that Federer is playing today. So she said, let's go see the Pope today. I said, yes, let's go see the Pope today. Said the Pope will go in the morning. I said, no, he's playing in the night. Pope are you talking about? She is talking about the Pope in the Vatican, and I'm talking about my Pope. The
But
Pope
I
at
know, Hans, that you do miss lot of gatherings and lot of invitations. You like decline just because you have to go play tennis. I can verify that.
yeah.
I'm Renu's friend more than I'm yours.
Yatin?
Luckily, that I never had that obstacle in my life. So whenever I wanted to play, I could play, and there's no, don't go there, don't do this or something, And she also understands tennis is one thing. I'd be like having a hard time climbing the steps. If somebody call, all the pain goes away.
Away
And
magically.
I'm ready to go. I can take a couple of Advils and just go at it.
Wow. Ashish?
oh yeah. So what you said, Manoj. Thank God I don't have to lie. I don't like to lie because the people surrounding me actually don't obstruct me from playing tennis. They said, "Okay, go," because that makes you happy, and then everything is happy, in the house. So last year in July we went to Hawaii. We went as a group, 13 people, and there was another guy who plays tennis with me. We used to get up like 5:15 in the morning to play tennis. Every single day we played tennis that we were there. Who is going to miss the Hawaii weather, for tennis?
Right.
I,
Exactly. Exactly.
wherever I go, my racket goes with me. So, we went to Australia. I took the racket. We played there. Went to Australian Open. Went to US Open so many times with these two, Yatin and Chetna. Had so much. I have so many great memories with these two. So
I
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought of one more point where, when we were talking about different players and our influences growing up, right? So some people obviously were influenced by those fiery personalities on court. For me, it was more like the calm, even though I had not seen Borg live, the calmness of Borg or Edberg, or like the present day Federer, like that we have known to come to know of, that's the kind of thing that I've always like idolized to be on court, like just focusing on and channeling all that internally, and then like just like not showing it out. That's why like you can clearly see like between Federer and Djokovic, Nadal, and all that, like who the crowd favorite is generally.
Right, right.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's great to hear all these stories. Loved talking about it, and I can do the same thing for theater, for example.
Right.
And that's why we started this passion story. And you are our local, our real heroes in when it comes to tennis. You are our Roger Federer.
Yes, they are.
Yes, yes.
Yes, they are.
So thank you all for
So,
sharing your stories.
yes, and
Thank
keep
you
up
for
the
having us.
passion.
Thank you very much for inviting.
Keep
Yeah,
up the
thank you.
passion, guys. Tell us more stories next time we meet.
Thank you.
And
That's why I keep my backhand single-handed.
Me too. And it is getting better.
That must have
awesome.
been tennis joke, right?
It is.
No, I got that. I got that.
Yeah, it was a backhanded compliment.
I know.
A backhanded compliment. Yes.
Backhanded compliment.
So thank you, Ashish, Yatin, Hans, and Arvind. Please keep playing tennis, keep inspiring people, and stay fit as ever, because tennis is the best sport. I think I'm biased towards tennis. And hail to Roger Federer.
I
Yeah.
second that.
Is to Roger
Thank you
Long
for
live
having
the
me.
king. Long
I
live
think
the king.
Take Two deserves a sponsorship from one of the tennis companies.
I know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night.